Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Ms. Mills, for your testimony today. You noted in your written testimony that hundreds of your union's members and family members have died from COVID and many more have been hospitalized. I just want to extend my condolences to them and their families and to you. And I think it's a powerful reminder that this is first and foremost a health crisis and that frontline workers like the people that you represent are bearing the brunt of it. You represent a lot of people who work in hospitality and in tourism as frontline service workers, hotel housekeeping, bellmen, wait staff, cooks, bartenders, casino workers. You mentioned in your opening statement that a majority of your members are people of color and that a majority are women. When the companies who employ your members struggle, who are the first people to suffer via layoffs or furloughs?
Thank you for your question. Across the board, it's the frontline workers first, our members who are laid off, and
Right.
our experience is that the white middle management are able to keep their jobs.
And when they are laid off or furloughed, it's not just lost income, right? In many cases, they're losing access to health care, to retirement contributions, and to other benefits.
Absolutely, yes.
And so among the hundreds of thousands of travel and tourism industry workers that you represent, 4 months into this crisis, are you aware of a single job that has been saved by the Main Street program or even a single hours cut or furlough that the Main Street program has stopped?
No.
And as the Main Street program is currently designed, do you think it will help workers in the future, even if more companies participate in it?
No, as I said in my testimony, not without binding requirements that employees be rehired from the first day of the aid.
Right. So in other words, even if a lot of companies end up getting loans through this program, you don't think that the benefits of those loans will flow through to workers?
No, not without binding requirements.
So 45 million people work at companies that are eligible for the Main Street program. If the goal is to help those millions of workers, do you think the Fed can just make tweaks to the Main Street program to achieve that, or do you think Congress needs to come up with a brand new approach?
In this case, I don't think tweaks will work. I think Congress does need to come up with a new approach.
So let's talk about that a little bit. In your experience, what kind of new approach do you think would be helpful to your workers? In your experience and the experience of your members, does providing financial support to businesses help workers without express and enforceable requirements that businesses actually use that aid to support workers?
No, time and again in many different programs without enforceable requirements, support to businesses doesn't help workers.
So of the $500 billion that Congress gave to the Treasury in the CARES Act in March, there's currently more than $200 billion sitting unused and uncommitted. If you were to use that money to develop a program that would be most helpful to your members, what would you do with it?
The two things that matter are healthcare and wages. So we would fund COBRA payments so that we could continue healthcare and then give direct support to workers.
And thank you. And one final question about this. Did the Treasury Department ever reach out to your union as it was designing this lending program that was ostensibly about helping workers?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. Look, I share your views, and frankly, I think it's time we started to listen to working people, not executives and investors and their lobbyists, when we design these programs that are supposed to be ultimately about helping workers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.